What can I do for you?
Investigate. Why the name Iron Bull?
So how did you get the name Iron Bull?
I picked it. We don't have names under the cube. Just, I don't know, job descriptions, I guess. When I came to Orlais, I chose the Iron Bull for myself.
Why that name?
Why specifically Iron Bull?
This may surprise you, but I really like hitting things.
Gasp.
Also, it's the Iron Bull, technically. I like having an article at the front. It makes it sound like I'm not even a person, just a mindless weapon. An implement of destruction. That really works for me.
Tell me about the Kunari.
I'd like to know more about the Kunari.
You writing a book?
They're a potential threat. Sound interesting. I want to know more about you. I think I'm wary about this because I remember when it was with Anders, and I picked that. It just seemed kind of because the dialogue option seemed to make the most sense. When it was a flirtation one, it was kind of a bit creepy and cringy. They sound interesting. They're a potential threat. They sound interesting.
What I've heard about them sounds fascinating.
What you've heard was mostly horse shit. All right. What do you want to know?
How do they govern?
How do the Kunari rule themselves?
It's pretty simple. We've got the matriarchy, the priesthood, and the military. The priesthood figures out how Kunari should live in theory. The matriarchy makes it work in practice. And the military keeps the Kunari safe from outside threats.
Okay, is there much dissent?
Does it actually work like that? Is there much infighting?
Not like you're thinking of. People disagree, yeah, but the priests are there to solve disagreements. Here in Orlais, politicking comes from people putting their own gain ahead of the gains of society. If you do that among the Kunari, the Ben Hasrath set you straight. Or kill you.
Eep. Do you not marry?
I heard there's no marriage among the Kunari.
Yeah, that's true. Kunari love our friends like anyone does, but we don't have sex with them.
Kunari don't have sex.
Oh, we definitely have sex. They're Tamasrans who pop your cork whenever you need it.
Yeah, let's not move on. Let us move on. If Thedas fell to the Kun.
Do you ever think about what would happen if the Kunari conquered Orlais or Ferelden?
Some folks, like Cassandra or Cullen, would do fine if they didn't die fighting. Those two love rules. But the mages... Can you imagine Solus trying his fade dreaming under the Q? Or Vivian doing her political bullshit? Both Sarah and Varric would mouth off until they ended up re-educated. Drugged until their minds broke. So, to answer your question, no. I don't think about it much at all.
What does Kunari mean? Follower of the Kun.
The word Kunari, is that the race or the religion?
Yes.
Both. Kind of. The humans and elves who follow the Qun are the Vidathari. The Kunari who break away from the Qun are Talvasha, deserters.
And those who predate the Kun?
What about Kunari who existed before the Qun?
The people we came from. They're called the Kossith, but we don't use that word for the race. We came south to Thedas because the Kossith were... I don't know. We had to leave. The stories aren't clear. But I don't expect they look much like us. Whatever they are.
Okay.
See you later, Bull.
See ya.
Maybe I should... Oh, that's because that's my new focus quest, apparently. I think we'll set you as active, Mr. Warden. So there's no one really new to talk to. Ooh, I have new things for, we have, maybe some more missions at the war table. And I can maybe do a bit more fiddling with the, I'm pointing up here because that's where my Bandicam thing is, if you can see my cursor. Which you may not be able to, actually.
Yes?
No. Let's not ask. Tell me about the circle.
I wanted to ask you about the Circle of Magi.
Of course. What do you wish to know?
What was how did the rebellion start?
How did we come to this state with the circles in revolt?
A failure of perspective that infected Circle leadership. Mages lived solely in a world of Templars and mages. They could not even imagine what was beyond the tower walls. Kirkwall gave the world a reason to remember its fear of magic. A mage killed hundreds with a snap of their fingers. Across Thedas, a new tangible fear of magic grew. Commoners and nobles alike called out to the Chantry for protection. But the malcontents in the towers thought nothing of this. They cared only for themselves and for their anger at the new Templar restrictions. When a mage attempted to assassinate Divine Justinia, again, the mages protested the investigation. The leadership chose to vote on independence based on the intolerable conditions imposed by the Templars, sparing no thought to the fact that magic was more feared in the aftermath of these attacks than it had been since Tevinter's day. So long as they had their freedom, they could care little for riots, angry mobs, or about pitting mages against each other.
Okay, what were the Templar restrictions? Do you know Fiona?
Are you familiar with Grand Enchanter Fiona?
We've met. Before her horrendously ill-timed and selfish vote for independence, I thought her adequate at her job. In her dotage, she could not handle looking after the well-being of so many people. We would have done better to replace her years ago, to let her spend time gardening.
Right. A note to self: don't take Vivienne to the hinterlands, because when we go there, we will be visiting Fiona. The wall cancel. I should go and speak to Josephine, shouldn't I? I should. And I'll go back to talk to Cassandra. Maybe ask a few other things. Ole, new things. Truth or dare, the Imperial Court. Choose successor in lead. Part of a Ben Hasser's
What
report.
have your ears heard, Leliana? Anything new we don't already know about?
No, nothing.
Part of a Ben Hasser's report noting the current fight for succession in lead, which has been without a direct ruler since Duke Ramash died early in the Orlesian Civil War. The duchy will go to one of 3 members of the dead duke's family, all of whom have possible claims to the position due to the complex nature of Orlesian politics. His cousin Carolina, already a duchess by marriage, his daughter Monette, whose claim is muddied by her youthful naivete and the fact that her father pushed her into a life of service to the Chantry after his wife's death, likely to protect her from the dangers of the game, and his brother Jean Gaspard, an ambitious and cunning man who has been searching for power. Carolina is capable and not overly invested in overseeing lead personally. Monette would be the most easily manipulated, but less likely to be useful. Jean Gaspard would be difficult to manipulate and could present a threat if he succeeds his brother. Any of the 3 candidates could become a valuable ally to the Inquisition, but the other 2 must be removed from play first. I can destroy Carolina's marriage with 4 words and the proper glove left on the proper table. Jean Gaspard is a chevalier and a capable military leader. If we want him removed, I dare say we might recruit him for ourselves. Ooh. Because I think I'd like to have Carolina take over. Monette's the most easily manipulated. Jean Gaspard could be a threat, but that would be a threat to potentially a threat to more to the Qunari, not necessarily a worry for me. Monette's the one I'm worried about most, so we'll send Liliana. I'm denied about it. We'll send Liliana off on that.
Let's see what we have.
That's quite interesting. It's more of a choice. So I go back to Ferelden. Interestingly, the runes are Alamari in origin, belonging to the tribes that inhabited Ferelden almost 1,000 years ago. What is of greater interest, however, is that none of the runes translate intelligibly, meaning it's all in code. According to the translators, a reference to the Guardian also indicates an island off the northern coast. Most curious, I'll continue translation efforts in the hope we can narrow this down further. Our efforts for food, a portion of the profits will pass to you. Use it wisely, Harold. Okay. I can keep going there. Yay. We should probably head off to some of those. or lay, truth or dare. A letter addressed to Vivien lies opened on the table. A note has been added to the top, which reads, Josephine, darling, you should take care of this. V. My dearest Vivien, you cannot have heard the shocking allegations against the Inquisition, or surely you would have never been seen with them. Allow me as a friend to open your eyes. People are saying that Divine Justinia is indeed alive, but the Inquisition, our closest advisors and most trusted servants, have orchestrated all this chaos on her orders. That it was Seeker Pentagast and Sister Nightingale who sabotaged the Conclave in order to eliminate opposition within the Chantry and cut off the heads of the Mage Rebellion and Templars in a single stroke. To save your own reputation, you must escape this acquaintance immediately. With deepest concern, Vicomtesse Elodie de Moreau. We can't prove the Divine is dead, but we could escort people to the crater to see it for themselves. We need the support of the nobles to combat this rumour. I can arrange a few key visits. Yes, it's about the... pilgrims are essentially irrelevant to this question. So, Josephine.
At your service.
Oh, these are ones we've already... Drop and grab. Oh, this is the one with Cullen. I'm not sure I want to do with Cullen. I need to think about that as well. So we've done that. We need 3 more power and then we can get access to the Templars. But I think we're going to be heading back to the hinterlands. We'll find this Blackwall fellow. And we'll...
Man that joined the Inquisition. The Bulls Chargers? They've got a healer of their own. He showed me some tricks. Got a demon claw wound to stop festering faster than I'd ever seen.
I've heard good things about the Chargers. Polite and respectful they are.
Everyone's respectful around us. Never know when they might need their guts shoved back in.
So I had an English word. What was I talking about? Ooh, read. I've already read this, haven't I? I have not. Addresses Barry, you know... don't really want to read that. So I was talking about... Oh, I was going to talk to Cassandra, wasn't I? Yeah, so we're going to be heading to the hinterlands. So, to see Blackwall, and we'll be doing the thing with Solus, and we'll also be interacting with... we're going up to the mages at Redcliffe. So we might get some power from there, which allows us to talk to the Templars.
Yes?
Why did the Templars leave?
Why would Templars break away from the Chantry?
The Order believes the Chantry no longer supports their efforts. Not to the extent they should.
Anything I should know?
Is there anything I should know?
The Lord Seeker's actions are a mystery, but the Templars will aid us. They cannot sit idle while the breach remains.
That's all.
That's all for now.
I'm sure you have other matters to attend.
I'm going to talk to Cassandra.
I trust all is well.
Tell me about yourself.
I have some more questions.
As you wish.
What happened to your brother?
Tell me about your brother.
Anthony was older than I, a dragon hunter, who showed what a Pentagast could truly be. I idolized him. I wanted to hunt dragons as he did, even though our uncle forbade it. Anthony promised to train me in secret. We would hunt together one day, brother and sister, vanquishing the beasts of old. And then he died on me.
How did he die?
What happened?
A group of apostates wanted dragon blood, and wanted Anthony to get it for them. He refused, and they killed him for it. In front of me. I begged the Chantry to let me become a Templar. Instead, they sent me to the Seekers. It took many years to let go of my drive for vengeance.
I understand.
I think I understand how you felt.
At times I could not breathe. The rage nearly choked me. I sometimes wonder how different my life would be if Anthony was still alive. Would I be a dragon hunter? Married to some noble fool, a mother of 3? I cannot say. I take solace in believing the Maker has a plan, but he is not always kind.
Well, tell me about Navarra.
You don't seem to like your homeland much.
My family polluted it for me. What little I saw of my homeland was through the bars of a gilded cage. My uncle treated me like a porcelain doll to be placed on a shelf and dusted only when necessary. Thus I did not see Nevarra, the real Nevarra, until much later. By then I realized I knew it not at all.
And what about your parents?
Your uncle? What about your parents?
They had the misfortune of taking the wrong side in the second attempt to overthrow King Marcus. The king executed them, but spared my brother and I since we were family, and children at the time. Thus we were raised by my uncle, a mortalitasi who preferred the company of his corpses to the living.
What?
Your uncle was a mortalitasi.
A death mage. He still is. My countrymen do not burn the dead, they bury them in special crypts. The mortalitasi supervise the crypts, like priests. Uncle Vestalis oversees the grand necropolis. Nevarrans spend more time honoring dead relatives than they do with living ones. It is odd to be so fascinated with death and its trappings. I will never understand it.
Okay.
I'll let you get back to work.
Okay, so actually...
Do you need something?
Ooh, I did actually exhaust that option. I missed something here, I didn't catch it. So, okay. Maybe next time I should go through and do all the investigates. Pretty much. Well, let's talk about the Chantry.
May I ask you about the Chantry?
It is difficult to say what becomes of the Chantry now. They have no Templars, no leadership, and no one left who is worthy of succeeding the Divine. It has fallen apart when everyone needs it the most. I ache to think what this will mean in the days to come.
Who was Chancellor Roddick?
What influence does Chancellor Roderick really wield?
He's a bureaucrat, responsible for communicating the Divine's will to the rest of the Chantry. Therefore, he's accustomed to the clerics hanging on his every word, hoping his influence will benefit them. Despite that, Roderick is not a bad man. He's frightened, and believes his place is to fill the gap left by Most Holy's death. Some might agree. As far down the chain of command as he is, there is no one left above him.
The right and left hand, maybe? Will there be a new Divine?
Will the Chantry replace Divine Justinian?
They will try. Once the priests withdraw for the Grand Consensus, it is against Chantry law for them to emerge without naming a new Divine. Sometimes it takes days, or weeks, or even months.
And then they have the white
Problem
smoke.
now is
Wait,
that
sorry.
no clear successor to Justinia exists. All worthy clerics died with her at the conclave.
Why did you leave the Chantry?
I'm surprised you rebelled against the Chantry.
I left my own order when they took the wrong path. It is no different. But in neither case did I stop caring. Indeed, I care so much that I feel drastic action is necessary. I suppose history shall one day judge my actions.
Should the Chantry be saved?
Do you really believe the Chantry is worth preserving?
If you ask my opinion, it is. Absolutely. Cast the Chantry aside and new problems replace old ones. We will have learned nothing from history. The people need stability, and the Chantry needs a new purpose. Andraste had a dream for us. It can still be achieved.
What new purpose?
So what should that new purpose be?
A dedication to what is truly important. Instead of building cathedrals and sewing gowns for the Divine, the Chantry used to spend its coin feeding the poor. If we are to spread the Maker's word across the world, we must do so with open hearts and open hands.
You see, you sound like an idealist. Like, she's right, though. I'll continue the conversation. It's the only way to, I think.
That sounds rather idealistic of you.
Does it? I do not think it's so unachievable. The Chantry has many good, honest people. They just need direction and inspiration. They need to be freed from centuries of adherence to tradition and ceremony. A chance for renewal is at our fingertips. It does not have to come with utter chaos.
I want to agree with... I want to... Alright.
Thank you.
Well, we've done quite a bit of dialogue, so we're going to be running around doing more dialogue. If these things... Ooh, iron. If these things do disappear once we've finished with them. It'll probably be a good idea to... oh dear. To get all the... use up all the investigates we can for next time I can loot. No, that's probably someone's stuff. One of the Inquisition, so we shan't. Next time, running around with dialogue, maybe going off to find this Blackwall fellow. But that will be next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for watching.